So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Future Leaders Connect final HEAT event in 2021. So my name is Angga Dwi Marta. I was an alumni of the Future Leaders Connect in 2018, and it is my great pleasure to be your host today. As you all know, Future Leaders Connect is British Council flagship program to build a long-term global network of emerging policy leaders. Today, we will select 4 exceptional young people to represent Indonesia as the members of the Future Leaders Connect in 2021. I would like to encourage you to post on your highlights from this event in your social media, and also please use the hashtag Future Leaders Connect. Again, hashtag Future Leaders Connect. Now, to officially start, I would like to invite Hugh Moffat, Director of British Council Indonesia, to give an opening speech. Hugh, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Angga, and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Hugh. Good to meet you all. Firstly, congratulations and thank you for joining the Future Leaders Connect. You are already part of the team, and we look forward to working with you. Whatever happens as a result, everyone continues to be part of Future Leaders Connect, whether within this process or beyond. So we look forward to doing more with you. And I think for me, it's always a wonderful moment to hear and get an update of what's going on in Indonesia, because looking at the wide range of sectors we're covering today, from health, forestry, wash, creative industries, gender equality, climate, all of these things are pressing issues in today's world and certainly inform everything we do in British Council. So we're really looking forward to hearing you and your expertise in policy as an area that will actually help us understand what we're doing, how we can support, and how we can build relations between the UK and Indonesia. So just to say thank you very much for making the effort, for being part of this, and also just to say I'm really going to enjoy this. So please do relax and think of it as a conversation. I know you're going to. I always am struck by how incredibly confident people are, and I was terrified in these processes when I have to do them. So I don't know how you do it. So I just know that you're going to be brilliant, and please, just enjoy it, because I certainly will be, and we really look forward to engaging with you through this process and beyond. So thank you very much. Context-wise, of course, in the coming few months, we've got some really interesting opportunities to engage with policymakers, and something that's what we would like to do as British Council. We want to do more to build this network of young leaders and continue to find new ways that are useful to you as you build your careers, but also connect you back to the UK. So of course, next year, or this next month, 2 months from here, we have COP26, of course, in the UK in Glasgow. And one of the angles we're looking at is trying to get more noise from the youth sector, from the young people around change and movement, and do that on a global level. So we have we'll be talking a little bit about our global youth letter later, just as an additional piece of stuff. But again, trying to get more people to really push and find ways to support. And you as leaders are critical in this, because you're already there. You're already working at policy level. You're already moving. But how can you use your networks to really push this agenda, move things forward in Indonesia and beyond? Because that's the power that you have. And of course, coming up beyond this year, we move into next year. And Indonesia is the G20 president. I mean, there's some fantastic opportunities that we are working with. We have a piece of work called Next Generation, looking at young people's, what's their thoughts, interests, and future ideas, which we hope to use as a platform, which again we'll share with policymakers next year as we move into the middle of next year. And there will be a big event around the creative economy, of course. We hope in Bali face-to-face, that's going to be a big event there. And again, something that through the arts programming we have lots of opportunities to engage with critical thinkers, critical leaders, and for you as key players. So we really hope that this is one part of the whole process. This isn't the end. So please really do enjoy your time today.
Can you hear me?
Hello, everything okay? Yes, okay, good. One of those technical moments. So there we go. I think I've said enough. Thank you very much for your time. Back to the team. Thank you for all your hard work. Good luck, and I'm rooting for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hugh, for your opening remarks. I think you highlight a very relevant points, that the COP26 is this year, and then we will have G20 next year, and also the ASEAN chairmanship of Indonesia will also in 2023. And I think, having all of the finalists as the future leaders and young leaders of Indonesia to be able to contribute more in the policy-making process towards all of those big milestones will be an important steps on this program as well. So thank you so much for highlighting that. So ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the most awaited part of today's event. Shortly, we will hear 10 presentations from the finalists of the Future Leaders Connect. Each finalist will have 5 minutes to present their idea. And at the end of the presentation, the judge will ask one question to each finalist. Each finalist gets 2 minutes for this Q&A. So there will be 5 minutes presentation, and question and answer session will follow shortly after that. But before that, I would like to introduce the 3 judges today. The first one you have met, Hugh Moffat, is the director or country director of British Council Indonesia. He was also worked with British Council in variety roles in UK, Nepal, Uganda, and Kenya. And also he established a leadership program connecting sub-Saharan Africa with the UK from South Africa. Basically a precursor of the Future Leaders Connect. This is Hugh's second time working in Indonesia, and he has a Master of Science in Social Development and Health from Queen Margaret University in Edinburgh. The second judges is Daud Rasul. He has been working with the British Council as Future Leaders Connect program consultant since 2016, based in Manchester in the United Kingdom. Previously, he worked with the British Council in Afghanistan and South Asia region, leading education, culture, and community development programs. Daud has also worked background with the United Nations and a number of international non-governmental organizations in different capacities. He has a first degree in law and politics and an MA in management and strategic leadership. And the third judge for today is Ari Sutanti. Is a senior program manager at British Council Indonesia, working on non-formal education programs, including social enterprise, developing inclusive and creative economy, social innovation, and also active citizens and digital access program. She has been working on various programs on social development, including climate change, good governance, sustainable development, etc. And Ari graduated from University of East Anglia in Norwich, UK, with British Chevening Scholarship, with Masters in International Relations and Development Studies. In addition, we will also invite the audience to pick your favorite candidates. After the 10 presentation, please tick the name of the candidate in the voting that will be shown via Zoom. So in your screen later on, you will see a voting feature. Then you can tick one name of the candidates, and our event committee will collect this voting. So before we begin, let's get to know this year's finalists from the first group through this video. All right, so without further ado, let's invite the first candidate. The first candidate is Jasmine Putri. Jasmine, and yeah, the screen is yours.
I'm Jasmine. I'm currently working for the Rainforest Foundation Norway as advisor to the Indonesia program. My main focus is working on the policy level on the rainforest protection as well as the indigenous people rights, mainly in Papua. It is because Papua is our last frontier when it comes to rainforest in Indonesia. Why it is important? Because Indonesia has a very set, strong ambition target when it comes to climate commitments to reduce our emission from the land use sector, and I believe it is very important to have a very strong policy when it comes to rainforest protection as well as the indigenous people groups, since they are the frontliners of our rainforest protection.
I'm Apri Prabhu from Yogyakarta. I'm a medical doctor specializing in general practice and global health. I believe a high-quality healthcare should be a norm, while optimal health and well-being should be available and achievable for everyone, not a luxury goods. We need a great platform to deliver it in the increasingly complex world. Isn't it great if we can have a health platform built upon multi-sector policy and actions where individuals, families, communities are empowered and their essential needs for physical health, mental health, and social well-being are addressed throughout their lives? Or isn't it amazing if we can have all of those in an inclusive, equitable, cost-effective, and efficient way? The answer to it is primary healthcare, or PHC. Unfortunately, it is often neglected. The pandemic of COVID-19 is one of the harshest and generic examples about the need of advanced PHC. My vision is a stronger and more advanced PHC in Indonesia to fulfill the promise of health for all in good times or in crisis. It also supports the vision of universal health coverage and sustainable development goals.
Hi, I'm Sylvia Landa, a project manager of Yayasan Plan International Indonesia for an inclusive water, sanitation, and hygiene project. I am passionate about using knowledge to create impact at scale through better policy making that ensures no one is left behind, witnessing how disaster ruin development gains and increase communities' vulnerabilities, specifically those marginalized ones, compels me to continue support communities to be more resilient towards natural disaster and climate change impacts. This situation is particularly challenging and relevant in Eastern Indonesian context because of the highest level of poverty and also the increasing climate variability, such as the recent Sarajevo cyclone, flash flooding, and sometimes we also experience prolonged drought.
Hello, my name is Lutfi Alkarani. You can call me Via. I come from West Nusa Tenggara, one of the province in East Indonesia. My current job is expert staff for Governor of West Nusa Tenggara, Indonesia. My job is to make a policy brief and implement several strategic programs such as sustainable economic development through tourism and also zero waste program. I also make one of the organization local, we can call it MTB Connect. The program aims to promote SDGs decent work and economic growth and also quality education. My policy initiative is providing opportunities for young people in the region or Indonesia to join as a part of public policy in the government sector, especially in West Nusa Tenggara. By creating various job opportunities for young people such as Insan Creative Program and also continuing the assisting program NTB Memanggil, in addition to providing opportunities for young people as much as possible to work together through the NTB Connect with the aim of improving the quality of human research in Indonesia. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Nata, a policy analyst at Indonesia Fertilizer Research Institute. My professional experience in agriculture for more than 8 years has established my interest in agricultural policy. Have you ever thought that the food you eat has connections with the farmer's livelihood and sustainability? I am fortunate enough to interact with the farmers during my work. I learned a lot that the policy have a significant impact on the grassroots levels. In my research, I also found that environmental regulation have shaped the agricultural practices and also the business innovations in the European Union. I'm trying to couple sustainability values and profitable agribusiness in my work. I believe the sustainability of soils and prosperity of the farmers is the foundation for the future economy. President Sukarno especially addressed petani as penjaga tatanan negara Indonesia or the guardian of the state order. So, I'm looking forward to working with you through this Future Leaders Connect and beyond.
Thank you so much. So everyone, those are the first 5 finalists. And now we will start with the judging session. And I would like to invite the first finalist, Jasmine Putri. Over to you, Jasmine.
Thank you, Anga. Hi, everyone. So I will start with knock, knock. Knocking on your door, the climate crisis. Do you feel that climate, natural disasters and the extreme weather is becoming like a Halloween party right now? It's becoming too often. Take a look at the forest fire in Kalimantan or the flood in Jakarta, right, Jakartans? Or the recent flood in central Kalimantan. Do you feel that it's normal to you? Because for me, it's not. It's definitely climate crisis. Indonesia has the 3rd largest rainforest in the world, and it's very rich. When we talk about forests, it's not only about the trees, not only about the carbon sequester, not only about carbon stock. It's basically our source of life. It's our livelihood, our source of food, our source of medicine, it's basically supermarket to us, and not to mention that forest stabilizing our planet whenever it gets hotter. So yes, it is a climate nature-based solutions in facing this climate crisis. So it's very important to make sure that our forest is healthy. But what does it mean with healthy forests? It means that we manage our forests and our land use sustainably. We manage how to conserve it. We manage how to utilize it very well. Indonesia has successfully reduced our deforestation rate by 75%, which just been reported by the Ministry of Environment and Forestry March this year. It's very much aligned with our climate commitments to reduce our emission from 29 to 41%. But why does it take for us to make sure that our climate commitments are met? It is because the right policies are in place. For example, to halt deforestation, palm oil moratorium, and the moratorium at the primary forest and peatland. But unfortunately, this policy and these regulations are being undermined. The social and environmental protection and safeguards are being undermined currently. Not to mention that the indigenous people rights are not progressing so well. Meanwhile, their land and their forests are being grabbed by big corporations. And why is it important to talk about the indigenous people rights? It is because indigenous people are proven to be the forest guardian. The forests that they manage are healthy, very well protected, and it's just ecosystem functions very well. So it's very important to talk and make sure that their rights are being recognized. Take a look at the Sungai Utik in Kalimantan or Lorelindu in Sulawesi. I dare you to visit one of them. I bet you will fall in love with our forest just like I do. But it's break my heart every time our forest being chopped down and converted into big palm oil plantations. Not owned by the small scale holders or not by the communities. And not to mention the land conflict it contributes to the area. But when we talk about our forests, it's not about absorbing carbon, because our forest is also one of our main carbon emissions. Remember the forest fire in 2015 when we had issues with Singapore when the transboundary haze? Yes, so our forest is also our main of emission resources from forest fire and forest conversion. So what do we need to make sure that our forests will stay healthy? It means that the effective policy should be in place. It has to be in place. The effective policy that stop our deforestation. And not to mention, it is very important to make sure that our ambition target to restore our forests and our ecosystem implemented very well on the ground. And also to make sure that we maximize degraded land for our agricultural activities. So then we can achieve our zero net carbon target. That is when forests becoming the carbon sink. So what do we need to get there? It requires you and me, the government, the CSO, the NGOs, the banking sector, the investors, the financiers, to be on board to make sure that the right policy implementation are in place and also implemented to stop our deforestation. So I will leave you a question: how to make sure that our forests will exist for the next generation to come, and we would build a better future post this COVID. Thank you. Over to you, Angga.
Thank you, Jasmine, and I'll hand it over to our judge for the question. Over to you.
Jasmine, thanks. That was brilliant and really passionate, interesting, and so much to think about. My question is around it sounds to me there is a policy in Indonesia, but what is it that things aren't changing? So what is it that you think needs to be shifted on the policy? What is the adaptation that needs to make policy into practice?
I would say the political will, because the bottleneck right now is the political will of the policymakers to make sure that we have ambitious implementation on the ground, not only at the policy level, to make sure that our efforts are aligned with our NDCs and the way how we restore our forests, and make sure that the political will is there and we're not undermining the current safeguards that we're having right now.
Thank you very much. And COP26 is coming up. Will you be watching with interest? And if so, what are you hoping from it for the forests of Indonesia?
From the forests of Indonesia, I really hope that the Ministry of Environment and Forestry and also other sectors are contributing to our emission reduction, would have stronger commitments in implementing the policies while having more stronger targets. Because right now, looking at the current policies, I believe that we should shift our, for example, energy target not to use biofuel anymore and transitioning to renewable energy, because looking at the consumption of palm oil and the land conversion, forest conversion, it will require strong commitments to stop deforestation.
Thank you very much. My final quick question, and this is like for 10 seconds. If you were at COP26, who would you want to be talking to?
I definitely would like to talk with Joe Biden and also other progressive climate leaders, because as we know, Xi Jinping as well, because Xi Jinping and Biden will be the strongest leaders to make sure that country like Indonesia would have more stronger policy and commitments.
Brilliant, Jasmine. That's fantastic. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, judges, and round of applause, virtual applause to Jasmine Putri. And now we're going to move to our second finalist. I would like to invite April Imam Prabowo.
Thank you. During my medical training, I was frustrated with the fact that our healthcare systems put all of us into a business of illness and disease. People could go broke overnight because of medical interventions. And suboptimal services are easier to find than the good one. Moreover, when they got healthier, people are returning to the living and working conditions that make them sick in the first place. So I think there is something wrong with the health system, because I think I should reject it to just follow it. It's supposed to be the source of happiness, joy, hope, not inequity. So let me introduce you to primary healthcare, or PHC. It's public health. No. Is it puskesmas? No. Is it intervention for poor people? No. I know it's a confusing jargon. So let me put it this way. Imagine Nick Fury initiating the Avengers. When he created the Avengers, he invites all superheroes to join forces to make a greater impact more than the sum of its part. It's not a rocket science. It's a leadership endeavor. Primary healthcare has three components: multisectoral policy and actions across all determinants of health, empowerment of family, individuals, as well as community, essential health services covering physical, mental health, and social well-being. So in short, PHC is a democratization of good healthcare. It's community-based approach. So when the Avengers first getting together, you remember they don't get along very well. Instead of collaborations, they make competitions against each other. They don't trust each other, thanks to Loki and Thanos. And on the other side of the road, people doesn't trust superheroes as well. And the anti-heroes want to maintain the status quo. They want the authority, and they make our superheroes the enemy. Unfortunately, that is what's happening in real life as well. Our PHC is in dire needs of advancement. That is my policy visions. Allow me to illustrate the importance of PHC advancement in tackling crisis. During COVID-19 pandemic, we realized that we need a resilient health system, political leadership, health literacy, economic equities, and many more. Primary healthcare frameworks provides the solutions. While we are still at war for COVID-19, we have another war coming. That is the climate crisis. Primary healthcare can provide preventive and mitigative measures by promoting health as well as integrative health services. It also provides social capital by holistically educate and empower people at the community or the grassroots. Moreover, PHC can be a leader in a green movement, just like NHS UK made. They pledged to be carbon neutral or net zero by 2040. PHC advancement and climate crisis cannot be dealt separately. Luckily, we don't have to start from scratch. WHO and UNICEF have made the frameworks. All we have to do is to tailor it into national and subnational framework, ensure that the governance structure can work across sectors seamlessly, and we empower and invite people to join the movement. This is not a medical and health professionals exclusive movement. This is for all of us. In fact, nobody should be left behind, because when we talk about primary healthcare advancement, we talk about many things. For example, we talk about universal health coverage, sustainable development goals. We talk about gender gap. We talk about economic equity. We talk about educations. We talk about a political system. We talk about agriculture and many more. Every policy is health policy. To make my movement more agile, I created an institute called Catalyst Institute. Imagine it like an Avenger Academy for PHC advancement. So I invite you all, my fellow future leaders, to join the movement. You don't have to change anything. You just have to add a new paradigm into it. When you put PHC advancement framework into your works, no matter what sector you are from, you are a health champion. Let's make it happen. We can do it. Stronger PHC is stronger nations. And Indonesia will create a good impact in global health. This is not about being the best in the world. It's about being the best for the world. Thank you,
Mas April. Your time is up. Thank you so much. I would like to invite the judge for the question, please.
Thank you, Mas April. It's very interesting presentations. I would like to ask quite a practical questions to you. If, as an individuals, for example, I would like to contribute to make your vision happen, what should I do? And then if there is any other institutions wants to contribute, let's say a university or a think tank, what should they do? And then if the government wants to support it, or rather the enabling environment wants to support that to make a systemic change, what should be done? That's my first question. The second question is, who are your primary stakeholders in this initiative? Thank you.
Thank you for the challenging questions. I would say from the government first that what they should do is to adapt the frameworks by WHO and UNICEF. And then when we talk about university, it's supposed to be the source of idealism to promote that what should be happen in the futures, not to embrace the status quo. So it's a home for idealists. It's a home for people to think big. So that's something that university has to do. as well as another think tank. And for individuals, I think it's instead of putting them into a position of responsibility, they have a privilege of accepting the roles that's supposed to be the responsibility of the providers and policymakers. So they're supposed to be in the positions of supportive or supporters, yet in the end of the day, they're becoming a champion by themselves. So it's more empowering them. I think the time is up, or and that's
well.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
So sorry,
Didn't
Imam.
get that.
No,
it's okay.
The time is up. Yeah.
It's okay.
Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, please give virtual round of applause to April, Imam, Prabowo. And the third finalist, I would like to invite Sylvia. Time is yours, Sylvia.
Thank you so much, Angga. I'm really excited today to share you with the concept of why it's really important for a policy to support community resiliency in water and sanitation sector. We all know that you need water to live, but you also know that water and sanitation is also a human right. Yes, if it is a right, then everyone must have access to it. However, that's not the reality. I'll give you an example. For example, one day you're outside of your house and you really need to use a toilet, but you can't find one nearby. Or maybe another time when suddenly water in your house stopped running. Are not like good moments. But can you imagine millions of people without access to water and sanitation? This is not just one day experience. This is a daily occurrence for them. And in Indonesia, there are more than 26 million people without access to water supply. And the number is even higher for sanitation. There are more than 51 million people still open defecate until today. Imagine, still open defecate. And to add to that, we all know that infrastructure for water and sanitation are not accessible for people with disabilities in majority place in Indonesia. So it is safe to say that enjoyment of water and sanitation rights is not equally experienced by everyone. And for me, being born and raised in East Nusa Tenggara province makes this issue even more relevant because of the lower access and also the higher poverty rate that pose extra challenge for my people. Through my work, I have supported more than 500,000 people to get access to sanitation through increasing demand and also through better regulation. And through this process, me and my team also support the poorest of the community and marginalized groups such as people with disabilities. I thought I've done a pretty good job, right, with the quite big number. But after the Seroja cyclone came, I don't think so anymore. A province which is usually experiencing prolonged drought suddenly is inundated with water everywhere. This uncertainty brought by climate change impact is dangerous because we don't know how to respond to it. We don't know how to be prepared. Plus, floodings ruin water and sanitation infrastructure. And the impact of health during this pandemic is intensified greatly. This climate hazard that's ruined development gains in call to stop ignoring climate change impact. If we do not support community to be resilient, people will be staying in poverty forever. And water and sanitation rights will also never be fulfilled. And SDG's ambition on water and sanitation for all will also just be a dream that will never see a reality. Therefore, we need to support communities to be more resilient, to be able to adapt and recover quickly. And from resilient framework perspective, this means that the community are working together and being inclusive to help each other. They also care about their environment, and they also have enough funding to finance infrastructure that can withstand disaster. However, we can't just work from one community to the other. We need to invest at system level that impacts everyone. A policy will allow for more funding to support communities in the ground. And if the evaluation and monitoring of this policy implementation is regulated, it will ensure fulfillment of water and sanitation rights for everyone. Sadly, there is no such regulation yet in Indonesia. So at the end, I want to remind you that water and sanitation is human right that currently being threatened by increasing climate impacts. So if you care about equitable and inclusive fulfillment of water and sanitation right, then let's join me to create a better policy that ensures community resiliency in the sector, because I believe collaboration is the key for success. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. And I would like to invite our judging panel, please.
Gowd, you're on mute, I think.
Sorry. Yes, I was just saying that thank you very much. This is very, very interesting sort of concept and suggestion. But my question from you, Sylvia, would be that how your policy change suggestion will contribute to addressing wider global climate change?
Yes, thank you so much. This is such an interesting question, because we know that when we support water and sanitation, it's also indirectly will help reduce climate change impact. As I said before, from the resilient framework, one of the key important things is care about the environment, care about the source where the water comes. You need to care about the forest. You need to care about the natural environment. And when you do that, your source is protected, but you also help the global climate better. If you plant more trees to protect your water, you also save the global climate by reducing the CO2 and better atmosphere. So that's my first answer. Thank you.
Okay, and my second question would be very quickly, what are some of the challenges you might be facing in order to make this policy?
The biggest challenge is working in silos. So for water sanitation sector, there are health concerns, there are like infrastructure concerns, there are also environmental concerns, and they're all in different ministries. So bring them together will be the most important thing to do, to allow ministry to work to tackle this really important issue for human rights. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Perfect timing. Thank you so much, Sylvia, and round of applause, everybody, virtually to Sylvia. And the fourth finalist, I would like to invite Lutfia Al-Karani. Lutfia, you have 5 minutes. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Kak Angga. Growing up in a simple nationalistic family, it has taught me many things about the meaning of life. As someone from the eastern province of Indonesia, West Nusa Tenggara, which is classified as a province with the low human quality index category in Indonesia, with a consider, this has motivated me to move forward to my region, to contribute to helping the government. As one of the way to transform the previous bureaucratic system, where many corruption practices occurred, as well as a political dynasty that was inevitable. Since I was a child, my mother and father has always encouraged me to always love our country, even though it was not without any challenge. I was inspired by Mr. Dahlan Iskan, who is the former of Minister State-Owned Enterprise or BUMN Republic of Indonesia, of his story of struggling since his childhood coming from a simple family until becoming a successful figure in Indonesia, and taught me the meaning to keep moving forward in this life. Working in West Nusa Tenggara has taught me the importance of the development in the rural area in Indonesia through a program that are well implemented along the cooperation with the several practices, as well as to make groundbreaking change that it seems to not be possible from the people. By observing and experiencing I have two policies The first is creating job opportunity for young generation through the empowerment of innovating and creative economy. And second is create opportunity for the creative industry or small, medium enterprise. Creating job opportunity for young generation through the empowerment of innovating and creative economy to encourage the successful create opportunities for the young generation to take part in the regional government policy, such as we continuing existing program NTB Memanggil, and we have another program and we can call it the Insan Creative Program. There are more than 150 young generation in WIANTI province joined with the selection process, and we just selected for 10 people who joined with our program to helping the government, especially for the Department of Tourism, West Nusa Tenggara Province. Also, my friend and I are building NTB Connect, a youth community for socializing the strategic program to helping the government to introducing the local government program to find cross-sectoral opportunities. A few months ago, we conducted an open recruitment too, and we just selected for 35 young people out of 254 participants joined with the selection process, with the strong dedication and contribution for the region. And the second, my policy is to create opportunity for the creative industry or economic, so small, medium economic. The labor absorption of SMEs is amount of 117 million worker or 97% of the total business labor absorption. So in West Nusa Tenggara, we have 4,000 units. This has significantly impacted the economic growth, especially in WIANTI province. What I have carried out to helping them to encourage a small medium enterprise to be more empowered, and we have a lot of activities doing inside of our region and conducted with the NTB Connect, the community, to helping the government for training, for branding and social media, for especially for a small medium enterprise. Additionally, my team and we prepare a module for integrate healthcare posyandu revitalization through one of strategic program in West Nusa Tenggara, and we already distribute to the 10 district in WIANTI, and also has already implemented in for 5 million people in WIANTI province. So I have a dream for WIANTI province for can rise human development index level from 29 to 15 in Indonesia. By encouraging the positive program by the government to policy change and creating change for Indonesia, I believe that through the motivation of change, we will be able to proceed further with the full confidence and good strategies. Nevertheless, I believe too there is someone who came from a remote area in Indonesia to receive the same opportunity to dream big with the hard work and perseverance. Thank you.
Thank you, Lutfia, and judges, time is yours.
Thank you, Lutfia. Yeah, go ahead, Hugh. Sorry.
Is it me? I can't remember. Is it me next? We're having a quick check.
Hugh.
It is me. Thank you, Lutfia. Sorry, we're so excited by your presentation. We can't decide who's going to ask the question. So thank you very much. Really interesting and amazing work you're doing. So I've learned a lot. My question is, you're already doing and supporting young people in the creative economy. What additional policy do you need if you're already doing it? It sounds to me you've got it there. What else do you need to do to support young people in this sector?
Okay, this is interesting question, because basically in my province, WIANTI province, we already have one of the community that I mentioned before, NTB Connect. We built the NTB Connect is a platform for a young generation, because I believe that the people coming from the West Nusa Tenggara or rural area, they can become a successful person if we have a contribution, if we have spirit to make our region become a better. So I do is we conduct the event with a stakeholder and also NGO and many of people to helping the small medium enterprise, because we in NTB itself we have 4,065 units for MES product, for MES platform. So that's why we need to have we just created the event, and we just have always have discussion every week with the member, because right now me and my friend, we already training for 60 small medium enterprise in West Nusa Tenggara right now, and we collaborate with NTB Mall. NTB Mall is one of the platform in West Nusa Tenggara who helping the people in Nusa Tenggara to promote their product, to promote their innovation, and can make economic growth in the future for West Nusa Tenggara. And hopefully my dream will become true. Hopefully our dream will become true to improving the economic growth, especially for the human.
So sorry, Lufia, the time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lufia. A round of applause for Lufia virtually. The fifth finalist, I would like to invite Marananta Bernard Ferial. So Marananta, you have 5 minutes and the stage is yours.
Okay, hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Actually, I have one question for you. What has been the most important discovery that transformed the world? Well, most of you will answer about aerospace or computer technology. I'd like to bring you back to the 1908 when Haber and Bosch find the first synthetic fertilizers. These fertilizers has helped the success of green revolutions in 1960s. And since a century ago, fertilizer has helped 4 billion people from hunger. And actually, half of the current population today eat food from the fertilized soil. So no doubt that fertilizer have helped us to achieve food security by providing the availability, affordability, and good quality of food. However, studies found that agriculture is the most contributor for the nitrous oxide emissions. And the rice productions, the important crops in Indonesia, actually a second highest methane emitters in the agriculture sector. Ironically, the global warming caused by these greenhouse gases will influence the agricultural productivity in Indonesia. The research shows that in 2080, Indonesia will have a reduce in productivity of agriculture by 15 to 25% because of this global warming. And it's indeed directly impacting the smallholder farmers. So what I want to bring is to change the trilemma of the fertilizers, food, and environments to the new dimension when those three become the trinity of sustainable agriculture system. It's actually begun with a simple action, which is a good agriculture practice implemented. For instance, by just improving fertilization practice, by doing the right times of applications, right rate of application, right source, and right place, we can reduce 75% fertilizer emissions. But in practice, it's not easy to implement. What we have done, we campaign this with the farmers, but it's really difficult to change the farmers' minds. It's really difficult when market is not receive a new model of sustainability in agriculture. So I propose a policy that provides incentive for sustainable agriculture practice. It will be a powerful policy because we couple the agriculture and environmental issues. The evidence from my master research in the European Union, I work on a nitrate directive and common agriculture policy. There are three interesting findings. The first one is better agri-environmental status in the European Union. The second one, there's a landscape for supporting the novel innovation market. And the third one, it needs an incentive for the farmers to keep their competitiveness and willingness to include the sustainability in their agriculture practice. But it's not an easy task. It needs 40 years for the European Union to make their agriculture policies, including the environmental value. And they still work till now for 20 years until the environmental value is included in 2003. So what's in Indonesia context? By implementing this in Indonesia, at least there's two benefits that Indonesia got. First is government budget is used to address agriculture and environmental issues at the same time, and we can use the income from the carbon tax on this. The second one is the businesses can innovate a sustainable product because the agriculture market received that. I strongly believe healthy soils and environmental sustainability support the agriculture productivity in long terms and have multiplier effects on Indonesia industry and economics. So for today's special, I would like to say Happy National Agricultures for Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marananta. And I would like to invite our judges to start the judging session.
Thank you very much. Again, very, very interesting topic. My question from you would be that why you think that this policy change or development should be a priority at this time in Indonesia?
Yes, I think, fertilizers is used by the farmers. They just see the greens of the leaves. They see if they don't become a green, they just apply the fertilizer more, and it's make their working capital is not efficient. I think, and the second one, the environment is impacted, and the third one, the decrease of environments make them not profitable again. It makes all the system is not work properly. So what I want to bring is to couple this important from now, so that what we eat now is what we eat now is not for our future, but for the future of the future of our next generations and the world. So I think, yeah, it's very important to do that from now.
Okay, and I mean, do you think that there are some implication in terms of using the fertilizers on the wider environment?
I think if we cannot use the environment appropriately, I underline the appropriate is the key, because we cannot provide the fertilizer inappropriate. We cannot optimize the productions. But if we make the fertilizer more than we need, we make the environment reduce, backdraw. So I think the key is a good agriculture practice, and one of them is the appropriate use of fertilizers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maranatha, and a round of virtual applause also to Maranatha. And I just would like to say congratulations to our first batch of finalists, Jasmine, April, Sylvia, Lutfia, and Maranatha. Now, let's take a 5 minutes break and watch a video about the learning journey of Future Leaders Connect previous members. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second half of our event today. Previously, I believe all of you have watched the first 5 candidates. So now let's proceed with the next 5 candidates. As usual, before we begin, let's get to know this year's finalists from the second group through this video.
I once witnessed most girls' primary education has been hindered by child marriage and teenage pregnancies in the rural part of Indonesia, like West Nusa Tenggara Barat. It results from the misinterpreted gender tradition, although our government has increased the minimum age for marriage. By then, I realized that our government needs an actor capable of translating those national policies into technical and collective action at the local context. Thus, I want to be that person who can advocate for the implementation of gender mainstream education in Indonesia, starting from my active participation in developing national model together with the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Education and Culture. I hope it's only a start. A small step in being the future leaders will make me learn more about policy making process and stakeholder engagements, so that I can be a better young advocate that is capable of advocate for gender mainstream education to be inserted in our national curricula.
Hi everyone, my name is Josiah Simanjuntak. You can call me Josiah. And I currently work as an operations specialist at SKK Migas, which is a governmental body that manages and regulates all upstream oil and gas activities through a cooperation contract. My role specifically at SKK Migas is to ensure the delivery of oil and gas projects in an efficient and effective manner, and that also adheres to the approved schedule, cost, and scope of work. I've worked as a regulator at SKK Migas for at least 8 years, so my policy vision for Indonesia is to improve the production of oil and gas through an environmentally friendly and sustainable manner, and that also addresses climate change. This can be done through a technology called carbon capture and storage technology, or also known as CCS technology. This has been proven effective in the United States.
So have listened from April Imam Prabowo. He's a medical doctor specializing in general practice and global health from Yogyakarta, Indonesia. We also have heard the presentation from Sylvia from Kupang. Is a project manager of Yayasan Plan International Indonesia.
Hi everyone.
We also have heard from Lutfia Al-Karani from West Nusa Tenggara. She is an expert staff of Governor of West Nusa Tenggara. And last but not least, before we also heard from Maranatha Bernard Ferial. He is a policy analyst at the Indonesia Fertilizer Research Institute of PT Pupuk Indonesia. Now, since we see the screen again, let's hear back the video from this year's finalists from the second group of the candidate. Over to you.
My name is Josiah Simanjuntak. You can call me Josiah. And I currently work as an operations specialist at SKK Migas, which is a governmental body that manages and regulates all upstream oil and gas activities through a cooperation contract. My role specifically at SKK Migas is to ensure the delivery of oil and gas projects in an efficient and effective manner, and that also adheres to the approved schedule, cost, and scope of work. I've worked as a regulator at SKK Migas for at least 8 years, so my policy vision for Indonesia is to improve the production of oil and gas through an environmentally friendly and sustainable manner, and that also addresses climate change. This can be done through a technology called carbon capture and storage technology, or also known as CCS technology. This has been proven effective in the United States to mitigate climate change by reducing the carbon footprint by capturing hundreds of millions of tons of carbon dioxide and storing it safely underground. However, in Indonesia, it's still in its infancy stage, so we're still trying to assess the viability of doing the project. But nevertheless, climate change is an imminent issue, not only in Indonesia, but also the whole world. And therefore, through my work at SKK Migas, I really advocate the usage of CCS technology to reduce the carbon footprint from the industrial sector in Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Dinar. I'm a civil servant that has been working with Ministry of Finance of Indonesia for 10 years. The pandemic has shaken my home country Indonesia that is now struggling to support its most impacted populations due to very limited state budget. Therefore, a policy like wealth tax needs to be implemented. However, might not be so easy to implement such radical policy. Therefore, I started small by educating Indonesian taxpayers and citizens of the importance of contributing back to the state through tax. My extensive experience in the public sector has taught me one thing. Policy agenda is a long and dynamic process involving multiple stakeholders and surely is challenging. The key is through collaboration. Through British Council Future Leaders Connect, I look forward to working with future leaders across the globe so we could collaborate together across sectors, inspire each other, motivate each other, and then finally reach our aim and objectives together. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Puspita. Today, I would like to ask you all, when was the first time that you think mental health is a real problem? If your answer is that happened when coronavirus happened, that's the same case with most of Indonesian people. But for me, I realized it's 10 years ago when I became a victim of bullied when I was a high school student. And it's the same case with 15 million adolescents in Indonesia that start to diagnose by depression since the really young age. The problem is we don't have enough professional, we do not have enough national budget to invest on mental health. Through my work at Sehajiwa, I realized that we need a holistic approach on mental health problem in Indonesia. And we need to change the narrative that mental health is not just a pill that we took when the problem already complicated, but it's actually our investment to a better generation, to a better community, and to better Indonesia.
Hi everyone, my name is Pandu Kartika Putra and I love using technology to solve problems. I work as a digital transformation consultant, especially in public sector, where I work with government agencies in developing or executing their digital strategies. My background is in computer science and I've worked at startups as well as consulted corporations in their digital initiatives. I have built and led a government digital service unit from scratch in West Java provincial government and also involved in setting up of the recently established Ministry of Health's Digital Transformation Office. I've proven how technology can bring massive impact in public service, and I'm determined to create a world where getting your government-issued ID card or paying your taxes is almost as easy as ordering food in your everyday super apps like Gojek. I've been doing this since my college days, built my network around tech and development communities, and hoping that you join me in this journey. Please do contact me if you want to build or transform your organization to do tech for good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So those are the video of our second group of candidates. Without further ado, I would like to invite the first or the sixth finalist, Naura Nabila Haryanto. Naura, you have 5 minutes and the stage is yours.
Thank you, Angga. Let me start by reflection. Imagine when your eyes are forced to close and you can't see what are the choices you have in front of you. It's when our adolescents with so much dreams and hopes, choices and contribution ahead of them are forced to have child marriage and teenage pregnancies. And I know this from when I led a teacher's training in West Nusa Tenggara and Papua, where it hindered most girls' basic education there. How are they going to stand here like us, participating in this event in the future, fighting for climate crisis or fighting for their rights like Greta or like Malala, when they don't even have their very basic need, when they are clueless about their future, about their lives? It results from misinterpreted harmful gender tradition from one of the tribe. And when the training was conducted, our government, our parliament has actually responded to the child marriage issue by revising our country's marriage law and lifting its minimum age for marriage. However, the miserable cases are still happening. And if this condition is being neglected, our government's effort will be end in smoke. The situation is also worsened since distance learning triggers child marriage case to increase. Indonesia is in the second rank of highest rate of child marriage case in ASEAN, and we, of course, want to lower this rate when Indonesia is becoming ASEAN chairpersonship. By leading gender mainstream education in 5 Indonesia provinces and help teachers in using digital platform for distance learning, one of the teachers in West Nusa Tenggara mentioned to me that the case of child marriage is reduced from 6 cases per year to 1 case per year when she provides gender mainstream education for a year. However, for an NGO to sustain the program after the funding finish, we really need the hand of Indonesia's legitimate policymakers. The umbrella policy is also urgently needed, since I was often faced by rejection in the village level, since talking about child marriage, teenage pregnancy, basically talking about our body, is still often considered taboo and violating some religious values. Even I talk to them using this hijab. I realized that Indonesia needs a translator for national policies into technical and collective action at the village level, at the local context, and of course, amplifying the voice and needs of the society. Indonesia has already responded to various worldwide issues, but a good policy is the one that is evidence-driven, fits the need of the society, and well and effectively implemented even to the village level. And I want to be that person. I hope that being the future leaders will make me learn more about UK's policy-making process that is provenly succeed to champion human rights values and mainstream gender equality. So I can be a better young advocate to advocate for gender mainstream education to be inserted into our national curricula. More schools are implementing child-friendly schools, and more teachers are capacitated to adapt with distance learning, and the message of character-building based education process by the Ministry of Education is contextualized and well translated into district and village level. Change doesn't have to be monumental, and this small step is a long-term investment for maximizing our education potential and bettering Indonesia's human resources, so Indonesia can prepare better to grasp our demographical bonus. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Naura. And now I would like to hand it over to our judging panel. Over to you, judges.
Hey, Harry, are you there?
Sorry, I was.
Yes,
sorry,
you are still on mute. Over to you,
on mute.
Harry.
Okay. Thank you, Naura, for the very elaborative presentations. I would like to ask about the fact that there are a number of organizations are advocating the issue, also a number of donors and also government initiatives. What do you see as lacking in this space so that it does not bring the intended impact that is set out by the government?
Okay. Thank you for your question. Yes, indeed, it's so many CSO, so many NGO working for this issue, working for gender equality issue in Indonesia. But I saw that one organization that I work with also have a goal to advocate for this issue with the government, but we are lack of champion who can encourage the political will for the government to be more aware of this issue. And also the CSO also are not quite familiar with how the policy making process with how the policy making process work.
So like we have a goal to maybe we can know this maybe about RUU PKS or sexual violence bill, but we really don't know how the bill is developed. How are we going to influence to such policy making process? So I think we need to CSO also need to collaborate together, and we need to be included in one platform to learn together regarding policy making process and champions.
Thank you, Naura. Thank you so much, Naura, and congratulations again. Please round off virtual applause to Naura. Let's move to the seventh finalist, and I would like to invite Josia Timothy Simanjuntak. Josia, you have 5 minutes, and the stage is yours.
All right, thank you very much. The Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change recently released a report highlighting that we may have warmed our planet 1.2 degrees Celsius since the pre-industrial times. Now, the global average temperature may be set to increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius if we do not increase our effort to stop climate change within the next 2 decades. So currently, we're generating 40 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. And according to the climate reports, we need to increase our global capacity to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere to 5 billion metric tons in 2050. And by the year 2100, we need to increase this number to 17 billion metric tons. So it's a huge number. And all I'm saying is that we need a goal effort for this. So we've got our goals, and now where are we currently at? Currently, we're only at about 40 million tons of carbon dioxide of removal, which means that in order to reach the recommended CO2 removal capacity, we need to increase this capacity by 125 times. It's a huge number, and therefore, this needs a huge global effort. And for those of you guys who are wondering, why don't we just plant more trees? That's totally a fair point. We should stop cutting down more trees. We should plant more trees. We should adopt more renewable energy technologies, and we should reduce our reliance on fossil fuel. However, in order to minimize the global warming effects into 1.5 degrees Celsius to 2 degrees Celsius, all of these pathways that I've mentioned, they require some form of carbon negative technologies, not carbon neutral technologies, carbon negative technologies, such as carbon capture and storage. So what is carbon capture and storage? Carbon capture and storage is basically an abatement technology that absorbs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere using a chemical solution called amine, and it is transported, injected, and stored safely way beneath the underground, so it would not leak into the surface. It can also be used for other oil and gas projects, such as recovering oil and gas from the subsurface, also known as enhanced oil recovery. This is exactly the policy vision that I would like to see happen in the near future, specifically in the context of Indonesia. I would like to see that carbon capture storage is implemented in Indonesia. So where are we now at in Indonesia? In Indonesia, we have already endorsed the idea of CCS. For example, we have already established a National Center of Excellence conducted by Bandung Institute of Technology and Lemigas. We've also supported the drafting process of the regulation related to carbon pricing so that it can also be used for CCS. And we've also conducted several studies related to carbon capture and storage in Indonesia, specifically in the fields of Gundi, Sukawati, and Tangguh. However, it's still in its infancy, and we're still trying to assess the viability of doing the project. This is a big issue in most energy technology cases. Why? Because energy technology is probably not the toughest development problem. It's not the toughest development problem that we've ever faced, but it is certainly the most toughest technology implementation problem that we've ever faced. It's very difficult to implement on a scope and scale so huge, and because it is very costly. So which leads me to the next point. The big elephant in the room is, how am I going to use policymaking to make the change that I want to see in this world? I want to see the usage of CCS by really adopting it from the get-go. Remember that there's no perfect solution due to the financial and technical barriers, but we need the policy incentives such as capital grants and tax credits to make carbon capture storage competitive. And furthermore, we need to deploy this project as soon as possible, as soon as this project is deemed technical and financially justifiable to do the project. This is what drives the shale gas revolution in the United States. This is how carbon capture storage is implemented in Canada and in the United States. All I'm saying is that there is a learning curve going there because people are very, very, very brave to make their first step. And all I'm saying is that every single journey starts from the first step. Therefore, as a future leader, we need to have this political will to take that first step if we want to reach net zero. So I just want to be very, very clear that carbon capture storage is just only one part of a very, very complex problem that we're facing. It still has a lot of hurdles to jump over. But if you want to reach net zero emissions by 2050, the more companies need to start innovating and needs to implement these solutions on a larger scale, the more we're going to have a shot in beating climate change and saving our future generations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Josia. Now, well, I would like to invite our judges to start the question and answer session. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Josia. Very, very interesting and a great presentation. So my question for you would be that how will you make this happen? And can you please tell us what would be your 3 top priorities in order to achieve this?
Okay, so in most cases of energy technology, the main issue is on the scale and the scope. So it's pretty difficult for an individual level to try to implement this on a global scale. Now, however, due to the technical barriers and financial barriers, there of course need some sort of incentives. For example, in Indonesia, we have already have a cooperation with the UK development body, as well as the Asian Development Bank for the Sukawati and Bundi projects, which allows this to actually happen. Also, in the United States, this similar policy has also been implemented. For example, they have implemented 45Q, where they give tax credits of $15 to $20 of carbon dioxide that's being removed. So therefore, it needs a huge collaboration, specifically from the government, from the company who's working on this, from the educational institution, as well as the financial institution. Thank you.
Okay, and do you think that Indonesia is ready for this change now?
Okay, ready or not is a subjective thing, but all I can say is that this is going to be huge in time scale. So it's going to need 10, 20 years for this to actually materialize. Therefore, we need, as I said in my speech, that we need to take the first step in order to reach the journey we need. And therefore, I'm very confident that Indonesia is.
Thank you. Thank you, Josia.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Josia. And ladies and gentlemen, please give a virtual round of applause to Josia Timothy Simanjunta. Up next, on the 8th finalist, we have Dinar Ayu Adeline. Dinar, you have 5 minutes. The stage is yours.
So, I got on a bicycle taxi a few months ago when Mr. Abu, the driver, told me how he lived hand to mouth during the first year of the pandemic when everything was closed. So he has to feed his wife and his 2 children, depending only on cash transfers he received from work and from government. And he's officially living in poverty now. And Mr. Abu isn't the only one. In Indonesia, in the meantime, there are 27.5 million poor people. This shows an extremely raised inequality number. Now, the pandemic, of course, has shaken everything and got things worse. But in order to recover from the pandemic, we need to support multiple sectors: health, education, tourism, everything. And in order to do that, the government needs to provide 744 trillion rupiah, ginormous number. And unfortunately, we don't have enough fiscal space. Why? First, our tax revenue has never reached its target for the past 10 years. And our debt has reached half of the national asset. And all these facts brought me to this policy agenda of implementing wealth tax. Now that might sound new and radical, but it actually isn't, because France, Italy, and Belgium have already applied that state. And I think you've all heard in the news that the US is currently debating on how to reach the ultra rich people. So let me show you how tax could be such a powerful redistribution channel. So according to recent studies, Indonesia have more than 20,000 citizens owning more than 1 million US dollars, and the number is increasing rapidly. For an illustration, let's see, if we apply a wealth tax of 5%, which is a number that the famous economist Thomas Piketty suggested to, let's put it this, 10 people of the wealthiest people in Indonesia, according to Forbes 2020, how much money would we get? Mind you, it's $3.5 billion, and that equals to 60 times the national economic recovery budget that I mentioned earlier. Massive. That sounds staggering, but would it be possible? It would. It would. So first, we are currently undergoing a massive amendment on tax law, which I'm actually involved professionally, and there's a proposal to increase the personal tax income rate for the top earners in the country. Now, in the meantime, they're contributing only 30% of their income. But UK put it 40%. Japan put it 60%. So we have loads of space to increase. And second, the pandemic, of course, has shown that it's important to us to work collaboratively across stakeholders, public and private, organizations and individuals. So this is particularly the right time if you want to implement such radical policy and then try to distribute all the resources available to the right target. Loads of eyes going to be watching, and this is the right time to target the most impacted population in the country. So if the worst possibility happens, if the policy agenda is politically opposed, then the only way out is to you, I, and everyone in this Zoom room and watching YouTube, we are all responsible to raise this concern. Get involved in the campaign, make sure that at the very least, we have comply and contribute ourselves, because in the end, only through such collective resources like tax, guys, that we could offer the support to fellow Indonesian, like Mr. Abu, the Gojek driver, who live across 6,000 islands of our homeland, Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dinar. And judges, the time is yours for the question and answer session.
Thank you, Dina. I think that's me now. I stole a question last time, but now it is my question. Dina, that was fantastic. Thank you very much. Really interesting. You made tax interesting, which is always good. Just to say, you've got an interesting challenge there. How will you encourage that small percentage of the population to pay more taxes? What even if there's no political will, what are you going to do in your campaign, which everyone's going to follow and be behind you? What are the steps to encourage them to do so?
No, as a young and I should say millennial generation, which get involved in many of community agenda and like events that trying to show the younger generation of how important tax is. Mind you, those who are like top earners might not be in our generation, but they soon will. They will be. Like they will be the holders of like top earners in the country, those who actually work in tech or multinational companies. They're probably the future leaders here. They're going to be huge top earners in the country in next generations. And to build their understanding and their voluntary compliance and how important tax is important to build the next future generations as well. So in the meantime, the tax ratio in Indonesia is extremely low. Like we don't have that voluntary compliance. So only through educating taxpayers, we're trying to build the new perceptions of tax. It's not only like a one way, but it's also contributing and paying it forward to the next generation. And of course, on the other side, we need a huge political will to make sure that this proposal will be passed.
Perfect. And just 2 words, what are the benefits for paying more tax to those rich earners? What are the 2 benefits you'd ask them? One benefit to them as a result of them paying tax. Give me 1 word.
So sorry. So 1 word for the benefit for them to pay more tax.
Yeah. What's the benefit to them?
Well, I don't think they're just. I don't think they're no longer finding any benefits, because they're in the way that in their life they need to give more. And I think giving is the point of everything. We need to give more to other people in the community.
Thank you so much, Dinar. And ladies and gentlemen, please give virtual round of applause to Dinar Ayu Adeline. The 9th finalist is Puspita Alwi. And I would like to invite Puspita. You have 5 minutes. The stage is yours.
Okay, thank you, Angga. Have you ever imagined the world that have everything, including the problem that needs to be solved effectively, but there is no one that have the capacity, have the power, have the energy to ensure its sustainability? That's the thing I have been concerning for these past 5 years. I'm still remembered when I met with migrant, victim of violence, terrorist inmate, even myself 10 years ago, when I was the victim of bullying. They have the same pattern. They get into those extreme situations because of they do not know how to facing their own problem. There is no one that taught them that's okay to express their own emotion. When I'm talking about mental health, people tend to think about, oh yeah, you are talking about the one that get diagnosed, the one that get hospitalized. But the fact is, I'm talking about us, the one that still attend this occasion, but facing with many daily problems. The child that still can go to school, but get the bad grade because they're experiencing their parents getting into a fight at home. The youth that facing climate crisis, but get stressful because of the relationship problem. Yes, I'm talking about 200 million Indonesians that might still not know what happened to them, but they're walking on the time bomb condition because they do not know when they should seek for help and how they should seek for help. During those experiences, I learned that there is a close-knit relationship between individual problem and global change that we are facing today. Mental health tends to look as health sector problem, but the real is mental health touch everything. We cannot afford to solve education problems, social problems, climate crisis, polarization without mentioning mental health condition of human being behind those conditions. The one that might be fight to solve it, or the one that gets affected because of the problem. For these past 3 years, I have tried to promote mental health from a holistic point of view through my organization, Sehat Jiwa dan Bahagia, or sehatjiwa.id. We help our beneficiaries through delivering our well-being curriculum. But the thing is, it's really hard to do just through community level approach because it has been so long mental health framed as an illness. I believe that all sectors need to work together to bring a real change on mental health. Yes, COVID-19 situation helped us to understand that mental health is a real thing. But if I ask you today, can you tell me, how are you today? Why are you feeling that way? If you can answer those questions, congratulations, because most of Indonesian people cannot afford to do so. Thus, the awareness is not enough. We need to move on mental health, doing a systemic change, creating multi-sector collaboration. In Indonesia itself, it has been 7 years since the Act on Mental Health was released, but there is no one single further technical instruction to ensure the implementation of it. Just 2% of health budget for mental health, and it's just for the curative treatment. But we need to invest on this earlier through prevention, education, and promotion. So the problem that I mentioned before can be mitigated because the problem is not happening when someone gets diagnosed. The problem happening right now when we are talking to each other in this occasion. To be able to reframe mental health, I believe that policy has the power to do it. And I will be delightful to learn it from UK because I know UK have been implemented global mental health approach through curricula and through the Ministry of Loneliness. If we want to see the stigma on mental health decreasing in near future, we have to integrate mental health to all sectors. Reframing this through policy will help our society to look mental health more than just a health issue, but it's a way to have meaningful contribution on any issues that we all face and as a strategy to prevent WHO prediction that mental health problem will be a global health burden in 2030. So the choice is on our hand. Do we want to see the prediction become true, or we want to see Indonesia have better generation that can create a better society that can pass many adversity that might arise in the future? So thank you.
Thank you so much, Puspita. And judges, I would like to hand it over to you now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great presentation again. So basically, I have two questions, if you can answer them very briefly. The first question is how this policy change would contribute to the mental health as a global issue.
Okay.
And my second question would be that who are some of the institutions and stakeholders who can help address the issue and make this change in Indonesia? Thank you.
Thank you. Like I said before, when we address mental health, actually we address all of the issues that we are facing today. We help them to understand that that's okay to have a problem, and it will help people to make a decision more objectively without the subjective thing that they feel. And the thing is, when we are implemented the policy, it will destigmatize the mental health itself. So our society will not tend to avoid to seek for help because they know it's a general thing to do. It's a mainstream thing to do. And if we should mention who is the stakeholder of this issue, actually everyone, the individual sector, the government sector, school needs to implement mental health based policy in their system, and then also the GSO level. All of them should collaborate because we do not have enough time. The 2030 is just around us, and COVID-19 situation make it worse. So yeah, this is the right time to collaborate on mental health, and all of the people should attend to this. Thank you.
Okay, and a very quick one. What is, from your point of view, what's the role of families and communities in tackling this problem?
The rules is actually really important, but there is no one that teach them how they should help. There is no one that teach them how they can embrace their community, embrace the society, embrace the family to tackle their own issues. So yeah, the rules is really clear, but
the time is up. Thank you so much, Puspita, for the great answer. And ladies and gentlemen, please give virtual round of applause to Puspita Alwi. And now we are come to the 10th finalist. I would like to invite Pandu Kartika Putra. Pandu, you have 5 minutes and the stage is yours.
Hi everyone. Let me start with a little bit of imaginative journey. What if applying for passport is as easy as ordering food in Gojek? What is after you gave birth, his or her birth certificate, your son or daughter, is automatically sent to you the next day? What if when you need the most, government stimulus money just sent to your account without applying for anything again and again? And what if government services comes to you instead of the other ways around? And the ultimate questions, is it even possible? Now hold that thought, because we'll get back to that in a few minutes. Hi, my name is Pandu Kartika Putra, and it is my mission in life to make better governments with digital technology. Now, government services have been known as time-consuming, complex, and definitely not user-friendly. Data is not integrated, unreliable applications, and inadequate customer help desk to help guide users. You can just compare government application with, for example, Gojek or Grab. COVID-19 pandemic has exposed a lot of government inability to deliver rapid response safely, effectively, and at scale. Like many governments around the world, Indonesia had to transform overnight, scaling down or moving their operations online, affecting everything from government offices, schools, to civil registrations. Now, how it turned out, I'll let you answer to that yourself. Now, the good thing is things can and will change. During my 6 years of working in the public sector, I have experienced the massive transformation technology could bring to public service delivery and government operations. Governments that put digital technology as the cornerstone of their strategy can make their operations much more effective, save taxpayers money, and serve their citizens much better than ever before. In the UK, you can access almost all government services in just one single portal, gov.uk. In Singapore, you can access and transact with most of government services with SingPass, eliminating constant need to refill applications again and again, or even submit your eKTP scan or copy like in Indonesia. Now, locally, the Special Capital Region of Jakarta government also has the Jaki app, where its citizen can apply for various permits and access all government service, almost all. In 2018, with the support of the governor, I built a digital service unit inside the government of West Java, the biggest province in Indonesia. I led the team from scratch, from 0 to 90 people strong and deliver 15 plus award-winning products and programs internationally to serve West Java, massive almost 50 million of citizens and around 40,000 civil servants. We actually learned directly from UK's government digital service, as we've actually visited them in UK when we established JDS, also working side by side with them for our several digital projects. We were able to enact policy change that allow us to deliver useful digital government services and improve citizens' quality of life. The transformation has even brought me to share our story in front of various government digital leaders around the world in Harvard earlier this year. By using technology properly, we were able to find inefficiencies in government budgets, cut services time processing, help farmers improve their yield using IoT, and more recently, quickly provide critical COVID-19 related services. Government officers are also benefited from the change because they are freed of a lot of burdensome paperwork. A proper design, develop, and delivery will enable government to operate and make decisions better, which will ultimately impact other policy areas such as climate change and other policy areas as well. I am fortunately now working as a digital government consultant in several national government projects, directly working with the highest policymakers in developing a digital government strategy for the national government, as well as potentially the establishment of Indonesia's own digital transformation implementation agency, like GovTech Singapore, GDS UK, or DTA Australia. As some of GDS early leaders said, invest on teams, not projects. With these policy papers and my established network in the government, I strongly believe that it is a matter of when, not if, that we will see better Indonesian digital technology. At least in 5 or 6 years, maybe we can definitely apply for our passport without getting our feet outside of our homes. To close it off, let me bring you back to the ultimate question earlier. Do you think that having a world-class digital government service is possible? I'll let you answer to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pandu. And now I would like to invite the judging panels to deliver the question.
Thank you, Pandu, and it is a very interesting presentations. And I would like to answer your questions by, I would like to say yes, but I'm registering my vaccine to Peduli Lindungi and also to the, what you call it, the overseas vaccination. I believe that comes from your office, right? It's not integrated, so I still cannot download that from my app. So I would like to believe that. I strongly believe that, but sometimes, you know, the evil is in the detail, possibly. But I think the good thing is something is working in the country, and I'm very happy to see, you know, like young people like you become the engine of that transformation. There is one thing that I would like to ask. You're mentioning about digital government strategy. What is your suggestions to make it work? I know that there are a number of good strategy developed by many smart people, but how to actually make it work? As sometimes we know that often different organizations don't actually talk to each other. So data is not that much integrated. I know that strategy is good, but challenges are also there. Sorry to pose you with these questions. Thank you.
No, that's all right, Mbak. I think that's a great questions. As I mentioned in the presentations, the answer is just one thing that actually GDS UK leader has said: invest on teams, not projects. So Indonesia has to have its own Indonesian GovTech or DTA or GDS UK. So that's first. Actually, in my paper, we have 17 recommendations or strategies, which might not it takes a lot of time, but I think the best thing is to have that agency and invite great talents to build that, as
the
also has
up.
been benefited.
Mas Pandu?
Yeah.
The time is up. Thank you so much, Mas Pandu. Very interesting. And ladies and gentlemen, please give round of applause to Pandu Kartika Putra. And I would like to congratulate again the second group of candidates, Naura, Josia, Dinar, Puspita, and Pandu. Congratulations again for the great presentation. That was very exciting. And let's give the candidates all of them a big round of applause. Now, the judges will convene to discuss the results, and our team will collect your popular voting. So I would like to invite the team from British Council Indonesia to share the survey. I believe all of you guys, the participants, the audience tonight or this afternoon have watched all of the presentation. Now in your screen, you will see all of the 10 candidates, and you can vote your favorite. There is Jasmine, April, Sylvia, Lutvia, Marananta, Naura, Josia, Dinar, Puspita, or Pandu. You have time to vote. It's a single choice vote, so please vote for your favorite finalist. It is very interesting to see, so I can see it from here who the audience voted, but I won't tell the result because later on it will be launched and it will be shared. So thank you so much again. And up next, I would like to invite Afra Irhami, Communication Manager from British Council Indonesia, to join with our stage to share about the Climate Connection Program Global Youth Letter Session. Mbak Afra, the stage is yours.
Hello. Hello everyone. Thank you, Angga, for the introduction, and congratulations for all the finalists who have concluded their policy pitching. I wish you all luck. So I'm from the British Council, and I'll be talking on behalf of Climate Connection campaign. But before I begin, I would like to invite you to watch a video together with me. If the technical team ready, could you please show the video?
Personally think that climate change is a matter of priority because it causes a general imbalance to the planet.
The most important current global issue is global warming, which is due to greenhouse effect.
Ice cap melting, wildfire, loss of biodiversity.
Rising sea levels, more floods, more hurricanes and typhoons.
The forest fires, I would say, they couldn't just put it off. And all our big forests, they just really burned a lot.
The waters are polluted, and so even getting access to clean water in Nairobi is quite a challenge.
I believe in organization of young people because we have the spirit of change.
If we don't do anything and don't make an impact, we'll never solve it.
That is why it is so much important for young people to be involved in decisions making about environmental issues.
If we don't involve, who's gonna be?
Create a digital space for different communities where they can see members creating sustainable and more environmental friendly homes.
Then we should be more involved in stuff like debates and conferences such as COP26, so we can make our voice heard.
To organize seminars, youth training, gatherings, discussions, campaigns, and contests.
Having platforms whereby youth and the young people can address environmental issues.
It has to be truly youth platform, not just to show someone or just create funding in the name of youth.
We should put environmental issues in education systems,
so that the children understand the meaning of climate change from the very beginning.
We are connected like no other generations because of the internet and social media. We just need to spread the words to the people, to the communities, and to the world.
I think it's a perfect platform to have access to different workshops.
We can use it to spread awareness, stop misinformation.
Climate change is not affecting just one or a few regions. The whole world is facing it. So we need to be aware before time runs out.
We have the spirit of change. Of course, we want a better place to live.
And young people, this is the time for us to take the necessary actions towards climate change.
Thank you, Tim. So that was the video about what we call it as Global Youth Letter. So Global Youth Letter is part of Climate Connection campaign that British Council has been doing across the world to support UK's presidency in COP26. So Global Youth Letter produced a report surveying 8,000 young people across 23 countries, including Indonesia, regarding their view on climate change. And one of the results of this survey, Global Youth Letter, is actually a letter, unanimous voice across these 23 countries, which will be submitted directly to the world leaders and policymakers who will be convening in COP26 later on in Glasgow. And I would also like to mention that Global Youth Letter is also partnering with children and youth constituents to the United Nations framework on climate change. And what I would like to do here is to invite you to be part of all this unanimous voice or letter that will be submitted and will be discussed by these world leaders later on in COP26. But also it will also be discussed, debated during UN Youth Conference later on in Milan by the end of October. So what you need to do is actually, I would like to invite you to submit a pledge. So by submitting this pledge, you actually really support us to press more, to give more pressure to these world leaders, giving them more push really, that climate change is the most pressing issues that our generations ever to have. And I wanted to let you know how to do that. I'll be sharing my screen. So I hope everyone is already seeing my screen. My colleague will help to share the link later on, but I wanted to invite you to share your voice. So if you visit this page, you'll see this button. You can click the button and it will lead you to this form where you can share your information, and at the end of it, you can submit your voice. When you submit this pledge, you could also share a little bit of your voice and your suggestions, where we will then collect all of these voices and then really submitting it to the COP26 and to the UN conference later in October. So one voice of yours really important to make a push and to really make a message to these world leaders to make a change and really do more to save our planet. So please help us to submit your pledge and be part of the climate change movement. So that is all from me. Thank you very much. I'll be sharing the link later on. Thank you. I'll give it back to Angga then.
Thank you so much, Mbak Afra, and it is very interesting opportunity, everyone, to join the Global Youth Letter ahead of the session in Glasgow, as mentioned by Mbak Afra. So we have the awarding coming up, but before then, I would like to invite the 10 Future Leaders Connect candidates to open your camera, and I would like to invite our colleagues from Bahasa Global to conduct the group photo session. So I would like to invite the 10 finalists and perhaps also the judges to open your video and then we can take the pictures together. Over to you, Tim Bahasa Global.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your invitation. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn on your video. We will take a picture in 1, 2, and 3. Once again, in 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And it is really my honor as well as the alumni of this Future Leaders Connect to watch all of the presentation and all of the speeches. And this is a time that we've been waiting for. We have 2 more activity after this. First is the awarding. And later on, we also have the inspirational talk by our really esteemed guest speaker. And I will announce it later who that will be. But before of that, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the final and most exciting part of today's Future Leaders Connect HEAT event. And I would like to invite back Ibu Ari Sutanti from British Council Indonesia to announce the selected members of Future Leaders Connect 2021. Ibu Ari, the time and stage is yours. I think maybe the judges is still judging. But Ibu Ari, if you're here already, or I think they're still judging. So I think that will be fine. Yes, so it is confirmed that the judging session is not finished yet. So again, everyone, it is really exciting, and I know like all of the candidates is very nervous right now. But from a personal point of view, I really see that the candidates bring a lot of amazing policy recommendation with also a very long and very substantive work in the issues that they've been working on so far in their organization. So really huge congratulations for that. And I really think that, yes, there's 10 finalists. There will be 4 that participate in the session, but knowing Future Leaders Connect, all 10 finalists is a member of Future Leaders Connect per se. And the network is there in Indonesia. And it's really an amazing network to be in. That's what I can attest as a personal experience in this program. Let's see again if the session, the judging session have finished. Still waiting for the information from our British Council colleagues. Okay, it's not finished yet. So maybe I don't know if some of the candidates are willing to speak about their experience. I see maybe from the 10 candidates, do you have anything you want to share? How does it feel to prepare that presentation? Yes, I see some voice. Yep.
No, I would just like to say that all the 10
yes, Dina, go ahead.
All the rest 9 finalists, you guys are so good. I'm so proud, even just to be in the same room as you guys. It's fascinating. Thank you.
It is really fascinating, right? And I can also see like you guys talk from climate change, mental health to taxes, which I think is something that is so amazing for young Indonesians to talk about those issues. So it's huge congratulations for all of you. And just to let you know that even though some of you won't made it to the program, and that will be hosted by Moeller Institutes in University of Cambridge together with British Council, but being part of the network itself, it's really an amazing journey as well. And you will join I think the 30 members of Future Leaders Connect in Indonesia. So it's yeah, can't wait to see you all in the group and having able to discuss a lot of policy issues and also policy recommendation. Well, but I hope everyone is not nervous anymore. It's just waiting for the final awarding announcement. Let's see if the judges if the judges is still talking, that means there's they got a hard time to judge you and to decide who will be part of the top 4. Maybe the rest of the candidates want to share something. How are you feeling right now? Yes, who is that?
Fia.
Oh, Fia, go ahead, Fia. How do you feel right now, Fia?
I feel really good right now, but last time it's really nervous, like Kak Dinar said, because all of the candidate and the finalists is really good, and I just inspired by them, by the presentation and all of the details that they have to share to us, and maybe hopefully we can discuss and maybe collaborate in the near future from the finalists so that we can make a family of British Council member of Indonesia. Thank you, Kak Angga.
Thank you so much, Lutfia. Anyone else want to share? Maybe the last one want to share from the candidates? Anyone want to share how are you feeling right now? How was your preparation? Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say that if we combine all of our superpowers, I think that we can make Indonesia a better place. So that's basically it. So kudos for all of us.
Yes, congratulations for all of you, and yeah, totally agree, Josia. Josia, right? I hope I've been pronouncing your name correctly.
No, it's okay. You're good.
Okay, Josia. Well, maybe we can check again. Maybe one more testimony from the participants.
Yeah, Angga.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead,
I think
Mas
all of the other participants has already said that this is like an amazing group of people. But more than that, I think that we need more people. I mean, outside even like this group of amazing 10 people, right? So we need more Josia, we need more April, we need more April, we need more Fia, right? In Indonesia. So that we will get to that destination faster. So I think, yeah, it's not, I mean, it's not just about us, but about all young policymakers in Indonesia that should go and develop themselves as well. Thank you.
That's really correct. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mas Pandu. Anyone else want to share something from the 10 finalists? I see Mas April. Yeah, April raised his hand. Go ahead. I think you still muted. Yes,
yeah.
Now I can
Thank
hear
you, Angga. I really appreciate the forum, and it's really a privilege to be amongst the 10 finalists. I just would like to say that whatever happens, we are all winners. And I personally dedicate my works to my daughter. So whatever happens, I'm really proud that the future of my daughter is brighter because of these future leaders. You know, like many people's working on the pressing issues for generations to come, and we owe it to the future generation. So I'm really glad that British Council has this platform that able to connect all of us, and it just makes me more hopeful about the future. So appreciation for all of us, I guess.
Thank you so much for sharing that, April. I really appreciate that as well. And I also hear a voice before April speaking. Anyone else want to share? How do they feel right now?
That was me, Angga.
Yes, Jasmine, go ahead.
I really hope that we can collaborate after this, because our issues is very intersect to each other. It's intertwined to each other. I cannot work on forestry issue when it's not being related to carbon, for example. And now carbon tax is a very hot issues. So I think I would like to connect to each one of you personally, and I really hope COVID will be over soon so we can meet in person, because when you get the vibe, then it feels better when you see people right in person. So yeah,
You're
full
totally correct.
appreciation for every and each one of you. You are very inspirational, and you really bring hopes for Indonesia to make it better for the next generation to come.
Thank you for putting that in a very beautiful words as well, Jasmine. And again, congratulations to all 10 finalists. I just got a message that the judges have concluded their session. So without further ado, I would like to invite Ibu Ari Sutanti, once again, from British Council Indonesia, to announce the selected members of Future Leaders Connect 2021. Drum roll, please. Ibu Ari, time is yours.
Thank you, Mas Angga, and thank you for all finalists for doing the presentations. As Pak Hugh mentioned, take it easy, because what your work matters. So this is just something that I think this is very important, but your actual work is also very important equally. So without further ado, there are 4 members that are being selected. The first one is Dina Ayu Adelia, and the second is Jasmine Putri. The third one is Pandu Kartika Putra. So we have Putri and we have Putra. And the fourth one is Sylvia Anastasia Landa. So congratulations to all members, and congratulations to all the finalists.
Huge congratulations to Pandu, Jasmine, Sylvia, and Dinar, and welcome to the team, and welcome to the family, and also to the rest of the top 10. Also, welcome to the big family. And again, congratulations, and I can't wait to hear your journey, your leadership journey, and also your public policy journey moving forward. And ladies and gentlemen, to end our amazing event, we have also an amazing speaker. So I would like to invite our speaker to deliver a special message from today's inspirational policymaker. I would like to invite Honorable Dia Roro Esti Widya Putri. She is a member of Parliament in Indonesia, representing the district of Gresik and Lamongan in East Java, Indonesia. She currently sits in the Commission 7, which deal extensively with energy, research, innovation, and industry sectors. She's also secretary of the Green Economy Caucus at the Indonesian Parliament. Prior to her career in politics, she graduated from Imperial College London under the Indonesian Ministry of Finance LPDP scholarship, and is co-founder of the Indonesian Energy and Environmental Institute. I think one amazing thing with her as well, that is not in her CV, she's also the champion of the Youth Caucus in the Parliament. So I really thank you for that, for bringing youth voice in the Indonesian Parliament. So let's view it in the next video, and I would like to invite Honorable Dia Roro Esti Widya Putri.
Great, thank you very much, Mas Angga, for the very kind introduction. Firstly, good evening, and I'd like to thank the British Council for having me today. I'd like to extend my regards also to Pak Hugh, the Country Director of British Council Indonesia, Pak Daud, who is the Future Leaders Connect Consultant, Ibu Ari as well, Senior Programs Manager at the British Council Indonesia, and everyone joining here today. Also, my apologies for not being able to join as one of the judges today, given my tight schedule, unfortunately, but I'm very, very grateful to be a part of this and to tune in for the past 5 minutes, listening to you guys, and, seeing that everybody is excited. I think this is a really good sign, and I'm very hopeful that, we can all create the changes that we'd like to see for Indonesia and also for the world. So I'd like to extend, of course, my congratulations to the 10 finalists that's been chosen out of 150 candidates. And of course, especially to the winners, you guys did an extremely amazing, incredible job in reaching this stage. And you should all be proud of yourselves. And I do believe that it's really important to have the youth become more engaged in global issues. And I was, listening to you guys earlier as well. There were topics on climate change, mental health, carbon tax, and everything in between. So this is really, really important to have these discussions. And as a young parliamentarian, I've come to also learn that creating change truly depends on, your willingness to do so. And I believe that everyone joining today has a very, very significant role to play in creating that change. Everyone has their own levels of expertise and interest, and there is room for everyone to create that change. I think one of the things that we have to push forward is how we can collaborate. So it's no longer about how we have to compete with one another, but it's how we can really just, essentially work together and live by the very essence of gotong royong, and work alongside one another in creating the changes that we need to see in Indonesia. And with that being said, I'd like to share a little bit about my experiences. Before being in the political space, I spent a significant amount of years living in the UK. Some of my primary years growing up, and also did my undergrad at the University of Manchester before then continuing my master's at Imperial College London. And the experience that I had constantly being around people that were driven and passionate about what they were studying at the time, very similar to what I was witnessing for the past couple of minutes here, in this stage, right in front of all of us. And I think the people that you spend most of your time with is very detrimental to where you are headed in the future. So I think it's really important to surround yourselves with the right people, with people who are also just as motivated and very much driven in creating some kind of change, whatever that may be. And with that being said, I was very motivated to come back to Indonesia and create and apply the everything that I learned in university and to see, and make an impact here in the country. And as you all know, there's a lot of gap to fill in Indonesia. There are a lot of problems, and which requires a lot of solutions. And from the very beginning, I've always been passionate about sustainability, how we can create a sustainable future or a future where sustainability essentially lies at the center of every human activity. And change, really just starts with having the intention of creating that change. And once you have that intention, you can then begin to plan the steps required to get there. Starting off in the academia world and then the NGO, and now as a parliamentarian, I realized that when you have a set intention in mind, you become focused to where you're headed, and that is what keeps me grounded now as a politician, and it keeps me going, because that very sense of purpose is very, very crucial. And right now in tackling some of the problems that we are facing in the country, particularly pertaining to climate change, for example, given that we've also ratified the Paris Agreement with a commitment of decreasing greenhouse gas emissions by 29% in 2030, and understanding that 30% of our nationwide emissions come from the energy sector. My role right now as a parliamentarian in Commission 7, which deals with the energy sector and also the industry and also the research and innovation sectors, it's really important that we push forward policies that tackle this problem, that can help us decrease the level of emissions within this sector, particularly in the energy sector. And the voice of the youth is really important in this, because I believe that we have a more of an attachment of creating this kind of future, right? A future where we are able to live our dreams, a future where Indonesia as a country can also reach its potential of becoming one of the biggest economies in the world by 2045, given our strategic position right now. With the demographic dividend that we are currently experiencing, where 70% of our population is within the productive age. And so right now, what we're trying to push is a policy on renewable energy as a way forward. So we are, finding ways of how we can push the energy transition phase forward in Indonesia, making sure that renewable energy is more competitive within the energy market. There's a lot of talks on carbon tax also in the parliament, and we're trying to make sure that we are putting forward how we can prosper as a nation economically, and also how we can ensure that the society's welfare are increasingly better off in the future, without forgetting the importance of nurturing a safe environment for everyone. And so I truly hope that this policy, amongst others, can play a vital role in creating that change. And I hope to see more of you in the political space, given the goals that you have in creating change. And I think the more we have you be part of the process of creating change, there is a very good future that lies ahead of us. So I hope that you carry on this energy, this intention of doing good and surrounding yourself with the right people to create the necessary changes going forward. So thank you again for having me, and I wish you all the best of luck in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Dia. Roro, I am a bit confused on calling you Ibu Dia or Ibu Roro or Mbak Roro.
Mbak
I think
Roro
we're at the
saja.
same age, kan? jadi bingung. So, but
Mbak Roro aja.
Mbak
Yeah.
Roro, if you don't mind to stay for a little bit, we would like to take a
Sure.
pictures with you. So I would like to invite all of our 4 selected members to open your camera, also with our judges. So 4 selected members, our judges, and also Mbak Roro. So maybe from our friends, if you can organize the pictures, please, from Bahasa Global.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So for all participants, please turn off your video so we can take a picture.
So I think for the
Yes.
first one is, yeah.
Yeah,
Silakan,
so
Mas.
I will take a picture in 3, 2, 1. Once again, in 3, 2, and 1. Then thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. And I'm not sure if you can do the 4 selected finalists, the jury, and Mbak Roro, Mas from Bahasa Global. Is it possible?
Yes, Mas.
Yeah,
We'll
okay.
make an arrangement first. Yes, so we'll take a picture in 3, 2, and 1. Awesome, thank you.
All right, thank you so much again, Mbak Roro, for your time. And everyone, I would like to thank you, all of the candidates of Future Leaders Connect, judges, each and every one of you for your participation. Before we close the event, I would like to announce the favorite finalists based on the voting from the audience. So the favorite finalists with the 19% of votes, so you can see the votes are very tight, but the winner is with 19% of vote is Naura Nabila Haryanto. Congratulations, Naura. And again, thank you to all candidates. Thank you to our partners, Indonesian Parliament, University of Cambridge, and also the UK Parliament. We also would like to invite all of the participants to fill the post-event feedback form that has been shared in the chat box. And from the MC side, from the host side, I would like to say thank you so much, and my apologies if I made a mistakes during the session, but I'm really happy to be here as an alumni of this event as well. And I really hope to see you in Future Leaders Connect in 2022. Thank you so much, and goodbye.
Bye, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye. See you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.